Wow, what a crazy night. What a crazy night. What a crazy night, guys. Um, what a crazy night. I still feel sick. I feel a lot less sick than yesterday, but I definitely still feel sick. My stomach was burning last night. That means the dragon is falling to earth. My stomach was like on fire, like it hurt so bad. Um, so when I fell asleep, I couldn't really fall asleep for a really long time. I don't know what time I fell asleep eventually, but I didn't think I was going to be able to fall asleep at all last night because it's just the energy was, there was a lot of energy last night. And my Palladian father, whose name is Colin, um, he said that he would come over. And of course, I would prefer the human version because, you know, y'all keep resisting integrating humans into this reality. And I already drew up a map for you guys and everything and whatever. But I guess we sort of have to like eat more organic energy for that to be possible. And that's sort of what we figured out yesterday. Um, what keeps happening. See, it's just like another game, another year of like playing without my people and playing with my energy again. And this happens to me every year. Oh, oh. So last night, they were talking about going to Disneyland. People that go to Disneyland, there's like, I got the idea that there's like fake children at Disneyland, which is crazy. I know that sounds crazy, but there's like a room or something where like people can visit fake children, which is like really weird. Maybe it's like the ride, like Small World or something like that. But that yeah, I got the feeling that like they go to visit like these fake children, but they're all getting possessed. And they're like, what's the movie where you go to visit the fake children in Disneyland called? And this was like at 4 in the morning. And then it was like in big what letters? It was like the exorcism. And I was like, wow. So like I think a lot of kids are getting possessed going to Disneyland and we're wondering why. So I was laying down in my bed last night and I felt like the house was like flipping. And so we were in the upside down house. The house is like underneath this house and it's upside down. So we were in the upside down. And then I felt it flip, which would mean that we went right side up. But it did feel like we kept spinning and it was making me like obviously like dizzy and stuff. And I was like, oh God, ugh. It made me sick. And I saw like people like attack each other in my mind's eye, like violence. And then they would like become like not people. They would become like little like the jellies. They would become like the jellies, the jelly beings. And so they would go from like people to jelly beings, people to jelly beings. And so it was like sort of the organic template, but not as like crazy as the organic template. It was just like the beginning of like people admitting like that they're organic energy. And yeah, that because I kept seeing that, I didn't really think I was going to be able to sleep. I was like, I think it's going to be like this all night long, and I'm not going to be able to sleep. But it wasn't. And then I had like the exorcism dream after that, and that was like at 4 in the morning. And then after that, so my dad's Palladian ship that I did show you guys a few times in here, it's usually on this side of the house, and it's usually facing this side of the house. And then last night it went up. Um, it usually just stays on that side of the house, okay? Because it's a ship. You guys call it a constellation, a star constellation, but it's a ship. And it went on top of the house, and then it went on this side of the house and was facing my bedroom. And it started pumping frequencies into the house where it was like crazy loud, like literally audible, like so loud, like brrr. I don't know if you guys ever heard like an alien ship's frequencies. It sort of sounds like that, but it got like brrr, brrr, like that, and it kept like um, pumping frequencies into the house, and I saw it fill in from a star constellation to an actual ship, and it was like bright red. It was crazy. And then I think like around the same time, it was one of the drones. They always fly in sort of from the same point. And it was huge. I've never seen one that big before. It was huge. And it was like a gigantic white light star. It was like this one that I've drawn for you guys before. It was like this one, but it was like huge. Like there was no way like that was like a star or like a regular drone or something like that. It was like huge in the sky, and it was really really bright. Like I don't know, I've never seen anything that bright before in my life, and it was just like huge, and it was like walking across the sky, and then it looked like my friend Ryan like popped out of it, and I could see like his form, like him like walk, like laugh, walk, flying, which he does a lot, and I do it as well. But it's pretty funny. And yeah, I was like, wow, that is so cool. But yeah, the Palladian was like pumping like frequencies into this house last night, like pumping, and it was making my stomach burn. So like my dragon father was like matching my Palladian father, if that makes sense. Oh, and then the ship is usually like this, and then there's like three dots in the middle, and it was like starting to bend, and then the three dots were here, and it was like starting to bend, and like it's like slowly like about to match each other, and that would mean that the Earth is oscillating back and forth, the North Pole and the South Pole. They're not pole flipping, but they're like this, like that. Like this. So that was that didn't happen last night, but like that's what looks like it's about to occur because they're starting to come together and meet together. Um I was yelling at a woman for getting married last night, and I was saying, you just think like, because she like her marriage was like all messed up, or her wedding was all messed up and stuff, and she was like, obviously, they always ask me why is this happening, and I'm just like, you know why this is happening. It's so annoying. You make me yell at you because you literally know why this is happening. Like, you know, this is happening because your wedding and your marriage is not important, and you're not honoring me. You know, the savior on earth, and that would be how you get a perfect marriage. And it's like, it gets so annoying after a while. Why is this happening? I told you why this is happening. Stop asking me. And like, oh, and like I kept ruining her wedding. Like she kept buying all this cheap stuff, and because it was so cheap it kept like ripping and everything. Um and like obviously I like felt bad because I kept like ripping like her stuff up or whatever by accident. That was a weird intersection dream, but um and yeah, they raised a French daughter in France, and Tim wants her back. um so pretty sure I'm shapeshifting around. I don't know, like his, but yeah, the Palladian ship was definitely filling in and um making the dragons go absolutely batshit bonkers. The dragons were going bonkers because the Palladian ship is filling in, and they said their teeth are filling in. They're feeling their teeth fill in, and they were all starting to laugh hysterically about it. Well, because I called the teeth the other night in my demonic episode, and yeah, well, what can we do, guys? You know, I'm just like, let this be it. Let this be it because like I can't take it anymore. I fucking can't take it anymore. Like, let this freaking be it. Um, so I watched a very interesting movie last night called Mother with Jen Lawrence in it. And I never watched it before because I've seen her talk about it before on her interviews. And she always said it was like the most traumatizing movie she's ever made. And I never wanted to like re-traumatize my wife, so like I never watched it. I was like, okay, that movie traumatized Jen, like I'm not gonna watch it. And it came on a TikTok. She was talking about it again on a TikTok, and I was like, okay, well it sounds right for me to watch now. So I decided to watch it, and it's a very traumatizing movie. It's very, very traumatizing, and It's definitely a 1D movie, aka Real Earth. And um and it was really interesting because she turned into a doll in that movie. You can see like how she has no energy in her for most of the movie. But when the trauma occurs in the movie, because there's a lot of trauma in that movie, her eyes turn jet black, and that her eyes start like bleeding onto her face, like the black of her eyes like starts like bleeding onto her face and like becoming like bigger than her eyes. And it's pretty clear as day on it. And there's a lot of other like supernatural things in that movie, but like I don't think like that was done in editing, you know. um but her eyes like become black and then they're like bigger than her bigger than her face or bigger than her eye socket. And yeah, I want to say that's definitely a 1D movie, and I've definitely experienced a lot of what happened in that movie. I think most of us have 1D experiences, and it sort of like progresses into like a World War III state when you allow Earth to fall to 1D. And I want to say that's something I definitely experienced back in like 2020, 2021, 2022. And I mean, I remember trying to go to bed one night around then, and the screams were so audible and so loud that I couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, wow, I'm definitely like in a layer of hell right now. That was what I thought. I was like, this is definitely a layer of hell that I'm currently in. And it always starts as like a party. It always starts as like a 4D party, or what we call 4D party. It might be 2D party, but it always starts as like a party. But it's like the party's like a little weird, a little dark, and that's how like you know you're falling to like 1D because it's like a dark ass party. And you're like, I do not wish to be here right now, but here I am. And Jen was like shapeshifting and it's like all these different people in the movie as well, which I don't think was edited in there either. And she was shapeshifting into like Keira Knightley, what's her name? Lily Sobieski, whatever her name is. And she was shapeshifting into other people as well. And yeah, it's a pretty dark movie. Um, it's a pretty dark timeline, I want to say. And but it also what's cool about it is it shows that the house is organic and that the house has consciousness. And then that's like a better part of the movie. But it's just like it's like you can feel her terror in the movie. You can feel her terror as like her husband like kind of flips out on her and kind of goes against her and just like puts her in these like awkward situations that like degrade into like this horrible situation, this horribly traumatic situation that like she obviously doesn't wish to be in. And it's um yeah, it's like you can see like them falling as like a couple. Like they're like falling from 3D to 2D to 1D in that movie. And it's like palpable. It's definitely palpable. And it obviously like it's crazy. That movie's crazy because like the whole house is like filled with people. And he's like, "Oh my God, like all these people love me," because he's like a famous poet or something. And he's like basically like stealing Jen's words for fame. And he's like, "I want you to see why Sims loves Sims characters." And we're like, "We really don't want to know why Sims loves Sims characters." And it's just like, yeah, it's just like crazy. Like, it's a very satanic movie. And it's interesting that the movie industry is allowed to talk about that kind of stuff as much as they want, isn't it? They can talk about that stuff as much as they want, but they're sort of like the only ones in the world that's sort of like allowed to talk about like Satanism outright because they say that movies are like a fake fictional story, you know? But like, yeah, he kind of like descends into madness and he like takes her with him because he's clearly, obviously not a good man. And he's clearly and obviously like using Jen in the movie. And it's very, very obvious. And I can't imagine like having to go through any of that in like real life, which I'm pretty sure that people have experienced. I mean, people talk about that stuff, right? I can't imagine like actually having to go through anything remotely close to that in real life. Like that's terrifying. Um, and it's like super quiet. It's like I feel like the general public's listening in and doesn't know what to say, you know? Do you want to say movies are real or movies are fake? Basically, just like they all freaking go crazy. And Jen's just like, why are you going crazy? Why are you going crazy? Why are you doing this? Stop doing this. Why are you doing this? And like her public persona husband, who looks more like a father in that movie than a husband, like is just like so like welcoming of it. He's just so welcoming of it. He's clearly like gone mad in the movie, and he's like, they're just like they start stealing their stuff, they start ruining the house, and he's like, it's just things. We can just replace it. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. We can replace it. And like Jen's like working on the house and like fixing up the house or whatever, and she's just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's an insane movie. It is an insane movie. Um, it's definitely a layer of hell, and I call it level one. But I would say it's like a very strong message of like how insanity breeds insanity and how like, you know, um, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. It's really disturbing. Oh, the movie kept like glitching when I was watching it. It kept stopping. It kept glitching. It kept saying like come back later. Like literally the movie was freaking out that the movie was being watched. Like that's how like disturbing that movie is. Like the movie was freaking out. Like then why would you make such a disturbing movie then, Hollywood? You know? Like why would you even make it then? Um they're like, well, somebody's got to like show, you know, like the side of madness or something like that or whatever. I don't know. But clearly it's disturbing and clearly it's like, I want to say a portal to hell. That movie's like a gateway to hell. Like if you want to go to hell, then you can like watch that movie. And you can watch movies like that. Those are definitely portals to hell. um so yeah, it was a very interesting night. But why is like Hollywood the only ones kind of allowed to talk about portals to hell? Like, I think that's kind of weird. I don't hear like a lot of people talking about portals, gateways to hell. Like, I guess like the Satanists kind of do, but I don't really hear them like talking about like gateways to hell either. Um, I mean, to me, heaven and hell are very real places, and they're both overlays of each other, and both can be equally disturbing. Like, space can be very disturbing as well. So it's not like when I say heaven, it's basically space. They're both space, but we call heaven space. And it's like, it's like we're not allowed to talk about that in like 3D. And that's like getting us trapped here in these egotistical, very, very boring lives. And yeah, everybody's just like, I'm working out today and I'm eating some salmon and some broccoli. Like, that's literally what anybody, it's like, unless they're talking, unless like it's conspiracy theory day, um, most of the time it's just people talking about salmon and broccoli and working out. It's like we're not allowed to talk about the ether anymore, or like it's like very looked down upon to talk about our space origins. Like if they talk about space, they're like 10 signs that you're from the Pleiades, or what star seed are you? And it's just like no information at all. It's just like they literally don't say anything. Or they'll just say like, I got the most intense downloads last night, okay? And before I get into it, I just want to preface this with saying that I am the biggest skeptic in the world. I'm a normal person, I have a normal job, and I never thought I would ever talk about this in my life. But here I am talking about it, and we're not wondering why, right? It's like they want to say it so bad, they want to like have authority so bad as like the general public. Um, but yeah, I'm just like, let this be it, dude. Like, I just can't keep going through this rigmarole. It's like driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. And like, is it driving you crazy to like think about Leo like marrying me with a big ring on 3D universe? Like, that's disturbing. If that's crazy, if that makes you go crazy, it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. Um, so but yeah, I always see like space codes. I don't really see like hell codes, but I have for years. And I think I said that I was trapped in hell for like 2 years. And we might be going back to hell for 2 years. Who knows? Um, I don't know. But anyway,